No question, right? Xi Jinping has been a gift to us. Now, that's only gonna be true up until the moment he invades, right? But to this point, I joke that if he's not an American agent, we should put him on the payroll because by God, everything he has done has been to the detriment of China and to the benefit of the United States, virtually everything. And he just can't help himself. And the Wolf Warrior thing has not really gone away. People sort of assume, oh, that's done and over. And let me just give you one example from February of this year. I go to this Munich Security Conference every year. Been going there for a dozen years. And this year, I was in a session there on supply chain resiliency. And there was like the Indians there, the Chinese, the Australians, the Japanese, the US. And it was going to be like a pretty non controversial session, just talking about supply chain resiliency in lieu of, supply chain disruptions post COVID. Right. And it began with an Indian representative from the BGP basically saying, look, we're open for business. We're manufacturing iPhones. Businesses should come to India. We're so great, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then the Chinese guy gets on the mic and he turns to the Indian guy and he starts off with, the West, they're trying to divide us. They're turning us into good students and bad students, and we can't let that happen. We got to unite together. And then, without skipping a beat, he turns away from the Indian guy, faces the rest of the audience there, right? It was a kind of oval shaped table, and says, by the way, no one should be doing anything with India. We've got all the supply chains. We've got all the workers. We've got the huge markets. India's not going to help you. Come to China. Don't go to India. And everyone was like, what just happened here? Like, are you kidding me? And then the Indian guy had the best comeback I've ever heard. He gets back on the mic and he says, we might be students, but we don't need a master teacher. So these guys just can't help themselves, right? There's not going to be any alienation between the Indians and Chinese on this topic, and yet they
Yeah.
barreled through it. And this happens, so much because they feel so self confident right now. They think that this is their time, that they've arrived, they're the world's greatest power, or about to be. Of course, none of that is true, but as long as they keep thinking that, that's great for us because I think it's actually becomes more dangerous if they think that they're diminishing power and then chance of slipping. And the self confidence inevitably creates arrogant behavior, which is, by the way, not unique to the Chinese. I mean, everyone does it, and God knows we've done it for many decades as well. But I think that plays hugely to our favor.
Yeah. So, like the post Xi kind of question, it's like hard to drawing direct parallels to like, are we going to get a Brezhnev? Are we going to get a Gorbachev? Like they aren't great, but they're kind of all we have. Because pre-Xi was so sui generis. I mean, sort of, we had like revolutionary leaders basically through the whole time, and like Xi has been the first one sort of after that like cohort. And I don't think like did like I mean, maybe I should learn more Vietnamese history or something to think about different transitions. But I mean, like, what is the mindset? What is the most realistic worldview and mindset that you can hope the Xi successor has in the contemporary, for whatever the contemporary CCP is going to spit out? And, to what extent, if at all, do you think, based on, your reading of Soviet history, like the US and friends can help sort of shape that, whatever the worldview
I
of the person who wins that next fight is?
I don't think there's anything we can do to shape that whatsoever. And this parlor game of trying to predict who the next leader is, I think is interesting, but completely irrelevant. And honestly, what I worry about is Xi's term, not because it's Xi, or not just because it's Xi, but also because of the time frame, right? I believe, as I write in the book, that the period of 2028 through 2032 is potentially the most dangerous, could be the most dangerous this century, because I'm convinced that he wants to unify Taiwan on his own watch because he's so ego-driven, just like Putin, that he wants to have this notch on his belt where he can go down into the pantheon of Chinese history and basically claim credit for it, right?